We're back. It's those boys from FURY MMA. Let me get it correct this time. Dan, the gentleman, over here with myself, Martin Island, here for episode 4, I believe it is. We're moving fast, Dan.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. We've got, we're up to our guest list, and tonight's show, it's about the coaches, all right? We've got Paul Hines.
I'm excited for this one. I'm really excited.
We've got Paul Hines from MMA CLINIC, and we go all the way across to Las Vegas. Robert Follis, who's the head coach at Randy Couture's gym, Extreme Couture, but we'll catch up. We'll get back to that later on in the show.
Before we even get to that, as we always do, let's deal with our sponsors. Sponsor number 1 for today, I believe, is Threads. Now, Threads is a guy who is responsible for some of the fantastic T-shirts and materials that we're currently promoting.
And on that note, we'll be stocking up again on our latest brands. So keep an eye on our Facebook and our website, and you'll be able to buy your products from there. And
somebody else who is very kind and dear to our hearts, FURY Fightwear.
Yes, exactly. They provide all the best sportswear, and they also all our fighters use their gloves on the event. So yeah, get at them. Just quickly before we go onto the line, quick shout out to Norwich MMA. I was out there, Norwich Contenders, refereeing some great fights up there. Great talents coming up. I mean, one person that we're looking forward to, and I know he's going to fight on the show and hopefully for the belt next year, is Ian Martell.
The bad boy.
The bad man. He knocked his guy out, I think, something like 4.5 seconds. It's crazy. But absolutely mental. Let's get back onto that. But the main thing that we want to talk about tonight is obviously Paul Hines. Paul Hines being the head coach of MMA CLINIC, and I believe he is on the line now. Paul, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can, guys.
Right. Evening, Paul. We're here with Martin and myself.
How's it going, Paul?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, sorry. Paul, I was just explaining to the guys, obviously you're the head coach of MMA CLINIC, and you guys have got 2 branches in Angel and Romford. But just so people know a little bit more about you, I know most of the, you've been on so many shows in the British circuit, but just want to know, how did you get into MMA and how did you get into your coaching role in MMA CLINIC?
Well, it started a long time ago, guys. I mean, I've been involved in the MMA since '97. I started watching, like most people did, the first UFCs, and was hooked straight away. I started just with a few friends, really, just practicing stuff we'd seen on the early UFCs. I then got in contact. Well, I was made aware of a guy came over from France, Fred Rado. He'd been training with Bass Rooting. He started the Bass Rooting Academy. Hooked up with him, started training there, and again just fell in love with the sport. Spent some time with the Bass Rooting Academy, Pancrase. Then got introduced to Paul and Alexi and Marius of London Shoot. Was at London Shoot Fight with everything in West Hampstead. I'm not sure many people know. Basically started in a garage in West Hampstead. I was there with them there. I went to Kilburn with them. During that time, I met Jess Loudon, who just came over from France, was just starting out in MMA. Fred went back to France. Me and Jess Loudon formed Pancrase London, the club. Still going now, and I just has reformed it. And had some great success there with sort of guys coming through the scene a few years ago. Jess himself had a great MMA career.
Yeah, of course. He fought in UFC as well.
Ashley Grimshaw, arguably one of the best fighters this country's got. Not why he's not in the UFC, I don't know. And was there for many years, really, with Jess coaching. Jess had his career with the UFC. I was sort of behind the scenes helping coach the guys with Jess. And towards the end, I met Graham from Graham Boylan, CEO of Cage Warriors. He had the boxing clinic, and he wanted us to get into MMA, and we formed the MMA clinic, and this sort of brings us quick kind of run through my MMA career. But I started in '97. So
that's fantastic, because obviously some of the guys you've named there, especially Jess Loudon. I mean, he was one of the again, in the UFC, when they were taking more like the European guys, and obviously he was based in England, I mean, he was a top fighter. And even now, I know some of the guys who still train under his coaching style, are very, say that he's still in great shape. And, do you think he'd ever come out of retirement?
No, knowing Jess more than likely, know, he's a phenomenal guy. I've spent a long time with Jess. We're great friends. He's a great coach. He's one of the real pioneers of British MMA.
Yes.
A lot of people realise that, you know, because he's from France. They don't realise that, you know, his career was based in England, in London.
Of course.
And, yeah.
I mean, I remember the days.
He wanted to come out of retirement, he could. He's that good.
I know. I remember the days. You know, the fights they had at Cage Rage. You know, not many people had the chance to actually see that. I was behind the scenes, and he had some wars. I mean, he would go right to the end, and you know, obviously that's credit to you as well as his coach and as one of his guys behind the scenes. Talking about guys, I mean, obviously we had 5 of your guys fighting on our show at Fury last Sunday, or Sunday the 14th, and all I've got to say is, wow. I know Martin wants to ask you a couple of questions. So
Paul, do you know what? This is not very often that I'm a person who shuts up, but I'm actually taken back by a lot of the stuff that you're saying, so I'm actually just sitting here just listening. But I have to say, Sunday the 14th, you know, Dan knows I was absolutely blown away by your guys. I mean, it's not very often you see a team come onto a show and it was, I believe, 5 of your guys fought, all 5 won.
Yeah, 5 guys, five wins. You know, some tough fights, some great clubs who's matched up against. I think, you know, just looking at the club, the MMA clinic. I mean, you know, I take a lot of credit as the MMA coach, but seriously, behind the scenes, I've got some really, really good guys with me, great coaches. If you know, I see myself as a generalist, but what I do have around me are specialists. I have Chris Carley, who does our Thai, you know, world-class coach. John Tandy does our boxing. He had a camp in Big Bear, training some of the best fighters in the world in boxing. Michael Russell, everybody knows Michael Russell.
Yes.
You know, wherever you go, people know Michael Russell. If you ever get a chance to train with him, to roll with him, the guy's on another level in BJJ. And, you know, I'm surrounded with these guys day in, day out, and I get to pick their brains and, you know, bring to my MMA, and, you know, it's a fantastic team. And credit as well to all the guys that train. I mean, we've got some great pro fighters. You know, we've got Brad Wheeler, you know, he's been around forever, and he's great.
He's another guy. I know, to go off the subject just a little bit, he's another guy I'm surprised is in the UFC. And talking about Brad, I was going to ask this question later on, but he's fighting John McGuire on the next Cage Warriors. I believe it's in the London one, correct? If he
we're in camp for that now. So.
Okay, and you know, for me personally, if he beats someone like John McGuire, surely that puts him up there. You know, for the UFC to be looking at him, because you know he's a young kid. He's, again, before he even entered Cage Warriors, he was in. You know, I've seen him on UCMMA. I think I've seen him on Cage Rage. You know, he's come up the rankings, and he always gives you a fight. It's not a boring fight. He always comes out, win or lose, and he leaves it all in the cage. And do you think if he beats John McGuire, this could be a head turner for the UFC to be looking at him?
I mean, we hope so. Well, you know, we're looking at John McGuire. You know, seriously. He's a top draw fighter. He's got a name.
Yeah.
You know, we're in camp. We believe we've got a game plan to beat him. You know, but you know, Brad's one of them guys. He's going to come. He's going to lay it all on the line, and you're going to get entertained. I think with Brad, you know, he's early on in his career took some fights that he shouldn't have took, but we're on a winning streak now, and you know, really we're looking at John McGuire as a stepping stone to push us forward. But you know, we don't see it as an easy stepping stone. I'm not take nothing away from John McGuire.
No.
We're going to have to be 110% on the day to beat him, and you know, we're in the process now, in camp early. We've got the luxury of having Joe Duffy with us at the moment.
Lovely.
You know, another fantastic fighter. I've got, you know, Benagia, even though he's a flyweight, he's you know, he can hang with these guys, you know. And so, yeah, we've got a great team, and there's a lot of guys in the background, you know, that people don't see, that are all part of the team, that are really kind of pulling together. And it's showing in our amateurs and semi-pros as well now.
Exactly.
Talking to some of the guys that are in your camp, I mean, for me personally, some of the guys that I noticed was like Lucas Bienas and Sohaib Ajban. I mean, tell us about these guys and maybe some other guys that we might not have seen that are, you know, you probably think they've got the potential to make it to the next level.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, Paul. I had.
We even got stopped at the door. You know, got him into the club. He had to show his ID, and but you know, he's a big man in a little man's body. Seriously, that kid has got some. We have to kick him out of the gym. You know, he's a great kid. Lucas has been with me for a while. He's hard as nails. He never backs down. I've got Carlos who thought on your show. He won, rear naked choke. He dropped the guy again. Just another great kid who's just. We have to kick him out of the gym. You know, Michael, Josh, all the guys that came on your show. They've all trained really hard. You know, it shows them. You know, but you know. I've got more of them, so I'm looking forward to the next Fury show as well.
Yeah, appreciate it, and we look forward to having you guys on. Again, so talking about young up-and-coming fighters, obviously they look at, you guys, MMA Clinic is obviously in somewhat acknowledged like with Cage Warriors, but do they look at that? Do they go, listen, this is where I want to go, and they know how, they see some of the other gym members or fighters, pro fighters who fight in Cage Warriors and say, okay, well, I know how hard I have to work, so I've got to go and fight on different shows, and their work ethic, is that something that you put into them, like that they look up to them?
Yeah, I mean, you can't, if you want to get on Cage Warriors, you're gonna have to prove yourself. Yeah. It's not as easy just to get on the big shows, as what people think. So, and also, they've kind of got a. They need a work ethic. I need them to be busy. I mean, some of the guys that fought, last week are fighting Saturday as well. Yeah. Sohab's fighting, Carlos is fighting, Michael's fighting, and they were in the gym on Monday. They fought on Sunday. They were in the gym on Monday sparring.
That's work ethic. That's fantastic.
That's it. And but even I really enjoyed being on Fury. I really felt coming to Fury was a good, really good show. But I recommend anyone that wants to fight amateur or semi-pro get on Fury, because it had the feel of a big show. It was outdoors. The music was going. The crowd was great. The guys were pumped. The fights were good.
All I can say is, Paul, wait until next year and wait until the next show. That was just the summer show, Obviously, we can't wait to have you guys back on. And it's not just about promotions. It's all about the MMA scene, the UK MMA scene, to produce great guys to go on to possibly Cage Warriors, and then from there to go on to the UFC. And it's just about. I don't know what your thoughts are. Obviously, you've worked with different kind of gyms and you work with different kind of people and affiliations. But do you think that it should be everyone doing the best they can for the UK MMA scene and fighters, as opposed to, well, this is our promotion, we're keeping our guys, and that's it?
I think the UK scene, we need to pull together. I think we need good shows. I think the shows are starting now. I mean, it's still a relatively new sport. Yes. I think we're all learning. Like, as coaches, I've been around, like I say, like 7 months, still learning. Yeah. The guys now coming in. MMA's moving so quick. If you look at 5 years ago, it was taken to the ground, grind them out, ground and pound. Now the kids are kicking off the cage. Yeah. I've got guys running up, jumping off the cage now and stuff like that. So, the sport's evolving, the promotions are evolving. I think we need more shows, but well-run shows. I think there's people out there just want to throw together a show. I don't think you guys know that. You know what goes into not only organising the show, but getting the fighters there on the day.
It's the matchmaking as well.
Responsibility. We need to make sure that it's an amateur fight, but the guy knows what he's doing. He knows. It looks like an MMA fight, And I think it's getting there. I really feel like promotions like Fury now coming through. Myself in the MMA clinic, you see an amateur guy. He looks like a pro fighter out there.
Exactly.
And, there's so many great clubs coming. I mean, we had 2 fights against New Wave Academy. They're tough club. They're good guys. We know that to beat them, we have to be 110%.
Yeah, exactly.
They're looking to beat us. We know that they know us. We know them. They know they're good. We know they're good, and I think that's good. It breeds, like I say, you watch an amateur fight, and he's doing, you know, transitioning from overclass and triangle to armbar. They know what they're doing, you know.
Yeah. So, and that's good to see. That's good to see. I mean, if fans come and watch that, I mean, if fans think it's fantastic to see, even if they come to an amateur show, it's good to see a good fighter who could be like, they'll be watching and going, wow, this could be a pro guy. But Paul, you know, I just want to say thank you very much. Obviously, it was a pleasure having you guys on the show. I've known you for a couple of years through different circuits. But definitely we will have some of your guys back on the show on Fury. But I just wanted to say thank you very much for your time tonight. And Martin, is there anything you would like to say?
No, that was very interesting. Thanks. Again, I'm a big fan of MMA Clinic now. I'm a massive fan.
Thank you.
So, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, guys, it's a pleasure. I mean, really looking forward to Fury. And just want to try and get the guys. The guys are so happy. Like I say, they're asking me, when's the next show? And I'm saying, look, don't worry, guys. You know, like we're definitely going to be on it. But yeah, you know, like,
appreciate that.
Thanks for the podcast as well, guys.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the support. And we'll speak to you soon, Paul.
I'm there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Have a good evening.
Cheers,
Take
guys.
care.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye. I mean, wow. I mean, he Paul, you know, I've known Paul, like he said, I mean, he just gave a quick brief of what he's done. I mean, back in 1997, I mean, Jess Loudon, he's trained with Baz Rutenkamp. It's you know, you just got to think, you know, he's been around such a long time, but yet so I've known some coaches who've just faded out, you know, but he still loves the sport. He loves what he does. He loves everything and anything about MMA. You know, you heard it in his voice. So, anyway.
As I said.
Listen, first of all, hold on, halfway through him, just would like to say happy birthday to Danielle Scali.
Should we do it?
Happy birthday to you. Right, that's enough. You can't give her too much credit. Danielle, happy birthday. She's one of the Fury MMA members.
Queen Bee of Fury MMA.
Yes, of course she is. Without her hard work, also, you know, we wouldn't be able to do some of the stuff that we do.
Much appreciated.
Okay, now talking about coaches, we've got Rob Follis on the line, I believe, in a second. And this guy is what Paul Hines just spoke about, but over in the States. I mean, this guy, I had the privilege of going out there, Team Quest, a couple of years ago before he left, but I'm sure he'll tell the story himself now. He's worked with Randy Couture, he's worked with Dan Henderson, Matt Linland, Charlson, and Chris Lieben, and at the moment, Misha Tate, you know. But without further ado, you know, we're going to introduce Rob Follis, which I believe he's on the line now. Hello, Rob.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing, Rob? It's Dan here with Martin Ireland, and would like to say good morning. I believe it's 8 o'clock here, and I believe it's about 11:30 or 10 or quarter to 12 your time.
You got it. It's close to 12. Yep.
Brilliant. How's it going, Rob?
It's going good, man. It's going very good. It's been busy. Actually, when you sent me your message, I got Eastern Standard Time, which is 3 hours from now. So I thought we were this morning, and then luckily I saw my phone rolling here. I thought I was getting a call from you in a few hours.
Are you still jet lagged from your flight from Japan? With obviously you were cornering Misha.
Yeah, it was like 30 hours without sleep on the way home.
Wow.
Still recouping.
But you know what? You couldn't be more proud than as a coach of your fighter. Obviously, Misha getting the win as well. I mean, that is always a bonus coming back home with your fighters winning. You know, their fights at the UFC as well.
Yeah, she looks great. She did an amazing job. We've been working on adding some skill sets in. I feel like she's been working on growing her game, you know, and looking at showing up some pieces that we felt like we needed to add in to make that run for a title again. So I think she's doing phenomenal with that. Do
you know what? I totally agree. I think, I mean, I heard one of her interviews earlier somewhere that she wants to fight Kat Zingano again. And obviously she felt that, you know, she was winning the first 2 rounds. I mean, in your opinion, if that happens and when she does win that, should I say, definitely a title contention? Or do you think she's ready now to go back for that title?
You know, I mean, I think right now, arguably, she's at that spot where she should be fighting for the title repeatedly. Nobody's really stepped up and shown that they can move past her.
Yeah.
That being said, you know, to keep the game fresh, they're going to move people up. So I actually kind of like that we're getting some fights to work on some skill sets, fight some very tough girls, and pull together some wins and prep for that. So when, you know, for me, when it's like knockouts.
Yeah.
You don't chase those things. You go do the right things, and they happen when they're supposed to. And I feel the same way about a title shot with UFC. If we keep going out there and winning fights and doing the right thing and be exciting and improve our skills when the time's right, we'll get another title shot, and hopefully we'll be ready to go out there and win it.
That's fantastic. Rob, she gives you, obviously, I've heard her in the interviews, gives you a lot of credit as a coach. And I was lucky enough, as you know, 6 years ago now, when you was at Team Quest in Oregon, I was able to come out there. But not for a lot of people who don't know much about you. Obviously, you've worked with Randy Couture, Dan Henderson, Matt Linland, the list goes on and on. Now, you're one of the head coaches at Extreme Couture. How is that staying in Vegas now? Because I know you was in Oregon for a long time, but the actual transition of living in Vegas, is it what made you go there?
Work and sunshine. Seriously, like that was it. I mean, I've been in Oregon for 20 years, and had a lot of family there and friends, and team and all those great things going on. And when I had sold Team Quest and moved on from that, I kind of just took a little lull and was working with a few fighters, but just kind of taking a breather. And some opportunities popped up in Vegas. I was kind of ready for a new adventure, definitely ready for some sunshine, and got down here. And shortly after I got here, another opportunity opened up with Extreme Couture, making an offer for me to come on and work with them, not only with their team, but heading up the jiu-jitsu program and getting a gi program started here, which is going awesome. Yeah, I'm loving it down here. It's been phenomenal.
So, talking about your overall journey into the MMA game, I mean, tell us how did you exactly, get into coaching?
Serendipity. It's one of those things that couldn't have been planned. It's funny. I actually got started training in martial arts because I started bartending, and I did not know that part of bartending was bouncing if there wasn't bouncers. The first night that some dude came in and got all aggressive, I was watching and I was like, are we supposed to call the police or what are we doing here? When a woman came in, she's like, go throw that guy out. And I'm like, that dude looks like he wants to beat my ass. Can't we just call the police? She's like, go throw him out. I went and grabbed him and threw him out and didn't get my ass beat. I thought, man, I better learn how to fight if I'm going to do this job. I can't. And really, that's how I got started in martial arts. I started training with one of the bouncers in his garage. And he had done some training with the Gracie. He had been into kickboxing and doing some work with Jeet Kune Do. So some limited clinch work. And we just started training enough that I felt like I wouldn't get my ass beat. And then a gym opened up in Oregon that had a very high level, no strike white belt as the head jiu-jitsu coach. And he was the second best guy in the whole state in BJJ.
Wow.
But started training under him in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and some kickboxing. Progressed on with him, and then was working with another guy out of in the Portland area as well. And we got a call that a guy named Randy Couture was getting ready for a fight against a guy named Maurice Smith in the UFC and was looking for guys to kickbox.
Wow.
Went down to spar with Randy, and we ended up forging a friendship and started working together over the next few years. He started teaching me wrestling in between his fights. I'd go to him with his wrestling practices. We'd work on jiu-jitsu and kickboxing in between. And, just kind of one thing led to another. And we ended up opening up at a gym together and getting that rolling.
Wow.
Things just kind of fell into place one after another. Again, it wasn't like as a kid, I was like, man, when I grow up, I'm going to be probably the furthest thing from my mind would have been being a professional fight coach.
And Rob, I mean, like I said, I had the privilege of coming out there, and one of the things that stuck out for me whilst I was out there for the 3 weeks is obviously not the structure that you had as your coaching, but after near enough every training session, whether you took the session or whether it was one of your other coaches, the best thing was you used to sit all the fighters down for a half an hour, and you used to talk about the mental side of the game, whether it was vision in your fights, vision in your life, how to relax, just being on the positive. You always finish the session with a positive note. How important is that to you? And do you still implement that in today's at Randy Couture's gym, or Extreme Couture, sorry? Do you still implement that with the fighters?
Sometimes I talk longer, sometimes I don't talk at all. It just kind of depends on where we're at. But, everybody says, the game's 80% mental, it's 20% mental, it's 90% mental. But everybody agrees that the game is very much a mental piece of the game, and physical is a part of it. I happen to think
Yeah.
So learning to, so you know, you can't just sit around at home and think positive and go win a UFC title. You're going to have to put in massive hours training. Like you have to have those physical reps, you have to have the sparring, you have to have the conditioning, flexibility. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you can just sit around and visualize and just think positive and win a title. There has to be the hard work. But the mindset that gets coupled with that hard work will differentiate people moving forward or getting bypassed in a lot of ways. So, you know, I've always made that a huge focus. It's something that I've was naturally kind of gravitated to and got early on, and then I've done a lot of work on, you know, sports psychology type work without actually having to go to school for it. I've gone and studied language patterns, hypnosis, how those things affect us, how we talk to ourselves, what we focus on, and how those things come up. Because at the end of the day, you know, you got two guys that are equally skilled in size. It's going to come down to mental toughness, understanding what you're doing, having the right goal sets. All those things are going to come into play.
I would like to ask you a question. What is the greatest fight you have cornered of Randy Couture?
Probably you know, there was multiple title fights. Probably the one that stands out the most was when he fought Tito.
Yeah.
Nobody gave Randy a chance on that fight. If you go back and watch that fight during the walkout, when we were walking out, I remember I couldn't hear myself think. I had to like talk out loud to hear myself think. You know, like if you go to a loud rock concert or something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because they were cheering for us. It was to the chant of Tito while we were walking out.
Yeah.
Like Randy was the whole dude who had dropped down to 205, and Tito was going to make quick work of everybody. And by the end, you couldn't hear anybody cheering for Tito. The whole crowd was cheering for Randy. It was just, it was one of those moments that just absolutely stood out as one of my favorite moments with him out of many really good moments.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, we're going to finish off with a couple of questions, Rob. And has anyone ever told you look like Anthony Robbins or sound like him? Now, I know I listened to your podcast. I listened to one of your interviews today, and you spoke about Anthony Robbins. And to be fair, you know, myself and the team, we're a big fan of him.
Massive,
And has anyone ever told you that you look like him or sound like him?
All the time.
Really?
I would like to think that he heard my voice in Mom. He's like, man, that dude there, I need to sound like him. No, it's funny because I've done a lot of training under him. I've met him. I've been through his courses and some of the mindset stuff that I've done and learning how to set goals and put those things together. I actually came through working with Anthony Robbins.
Can I ask? Sorry.
Enough, I just sound like him. It's pretty funny.
Sorry. With that being said, is this where maybe you implemented some of the you mentioned like the mental toughness of a fighter? Is this maybe where you've used maybe some of the stuff that Tony Robbins uses to implement with your fighters?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, you can't separate those things, and it's one of the things that I tell guys. I go, there's people that have ranges in those spots. Some people have a natural mental toughness from how they were raised and what goes on, but everybody's got a range, just like you do with explosiveness, strength, speed, and the goal is always to see how far can I press that range.
Yes.
And to think that that working that as a skill set is not important, I think is a mistake.
Yeah. I agree.
I think that.
Sorry, Rob. Go on. I was just going to say also, just to finish off, what is it for you? What satisfaction do you get out of being a coach? I mean, do you still enjoy it just as much as you did 7 years ago, 8 years ago? Do you still get that same buzz, same satisfaction that you did when you first started? And what makes you carry on?
I think I get more satisfaction out of it. There's really two sides to it. The winning fights is a really important piece. It's what we're there to do. It's what we get paid to do.
Yeah.
But helping people develop and see things growing outside of their life and having the platform where people outside of fighting will listen to me about how the principles of being a good fighter can help you lead a better life, to me, is really what it's all about.
Fantastic.
So for me, being a fight coach is a platform to do a greater good in service in the world, and that's my long-term vision, is to be able to take because the same principles for a fight is the same it does to be in the job market, or how to approach your teammates and do things are the same thing about how you treat your family, or what I mean. All those things are cross contextual in other areas of your life. So I'm passionate about it from multiple standpoints. One, I love what I do. I mean, it's an unbelievable honor to be able to have some of the best athletes in the world entrust themselves in a game plan and working with me to get ready to go out there and to go out and see those things come to fruition and work. And it's a whole nother level when I get a chance to speak and do some of my other work and have people say, man, I want to lead a better life because of this. And that's, I think at the end of the day, that's what it's really what we should all be focused on is, how we use the gifts we have and the things we do to help other people out.
Okay, Rob, last question. If you had the chance to fight MMA against any of the following coaches, who would it be? Who would you like to fight and why?
Could you say that again?
If you had the chance to fight MMA against any of the following coaches, who would you like to fight and why?
Would it be Greg Jackson, Frank Shamrock, or Renzo Gracie?
If I was going to fight one?
Yeah, in MMA. If you had the chance to fight in MMA out of these coaches, Greg Jackson, Frank Shamrock, or Renzo Gracie, who would you like to fight and why?
I'm going to say Greg Jackson, but not because I don't like him, but because both of us have very limited fight experience. I'm looking for one I would hope would be the easiest, but I know Greg Jackson's pretty tough too. There's a reason I chose to coach and not fight.
Rob, well, listen, from personal point of view, it's been a pleasure talking to you again, and I'm hoping to come back out there and visit you. Obviously, our first encounter was when you came over to London, 2K Rage with Matt Linland, and from day one, you invited me out there, and I came out there to train with you guys, and I'd love to come out there and obviously see you guys and in the sunshine this time rather than in the rainy Oregon coldness.
Everybody, the nice thing about Vegas over Oregon is so many people come to Vegas anyway.
Yeah.
We've got a great team. If we got fighters coming in from out of town, we got coaches that'll do private lessons. I'll do private lessons. I mean, it's an amazing gym and facility if you haven't been out here. But we have a lot of people that come in for holiday, and then they'll bounce in for a day or two of training before they get too deep into their partying session and have a good time. And we've actually got a lot of fighters that are now starting to come out and actually do their camps here.
Yeah.
From other places. So. If you guys are heading out, make sure to holler ahead. And if you know anybody that's looking for a place to train when they pop out to Vegas, let us know.
Absolutely.
Of course, Rob. Well, Robert, it's been a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. For myself and Martin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there a shout out you'd like to give anyone or thank you? Feel free to do so.
Not off the top of my head. Just appreciate the fans out there and the people that support the sport and take care of the fighters.
Thank you, Rob. I will hopefully speak to you soon.
All right.
Take care, buddy.
Looking forward to it. Take care, guys.
Have a good day. Thank you very much. Wow. I don't know about you. I mean, obviously, this is a special double podcast. My brain is fried right now. Listen, Rob Follis, just like Paul Hines was saying, Rob Follis, I mean, this guy, I was lucky enough, I think on my 21st birthday, went out there, saved up money, went out there. And when he was at Team Quest, and I was lucky enough to meet people like Matt Linland, I was able to train with, I think Chow was there, Nate Quarry, Chris Lieben, Ed Herman, Ryan Schultz, it's naming some of them. But the respect that they had for Rob, and they still have, regardless if they're at his gym or not, which I'm not sure about. I mean, you can just tell straight away this guy is clued up about MMA, and he's passionate, and
you can hear it. It transcends through, comes through the microphone. Man.
And like I said, for me personally, the one thing I come back from when I came back from the States was his mental attitude. Yes. I mean, before that, when I went out there, I was on five losing streaks. Of my fights. Come back out there. He recommended a couple of books. He got me, into a good mental state. Come back, had my fight on UCMMA, won my first fight. Just a way of different training. I changed. He advised me maybe I should change my camps, be around more positive people, be around different fighters who have got the same mentality as where I want to go. So he's. I would just like to say thank you again. He'll be listening back to this, and he's a top guy.
He sounds it. He does. He really does.
And he is the man. Okay, well, that's for now, guys. I mean, that's coming up to the end of our podcast. Again, we'd like to thank Paul Hines. We'd like to thank Robert Follis. It was a great pleasure talking to you both.
Absolutely amazing.
And, you know, next week, wow. Well, next week, I don't know if you've heard it or not, but I'll let you take over this one.
Right, okay, so I believe the date is in November.
Yep.
Made for the Cage?
Yep.
Right, we have the Made for the Cage heavyweight champion, James Mulherron, versus the Fury MMA heavyweight champion, Damon Godzilla Lake. Now, me personally, excited is an understatement.
You know what? Them guys up north, you know, they're running a fantastic show. You know, so for me, it's kind of cool to see, you know, North versus South. You know, so and I know Damon's very excited about this fight, but hey, you know, let's not give too much away. He'll be on the show next week, and also another special guest, which we can't tell you just yet. You'll have to wait for that one. But again, guys. Would like to thank one of our other sponsors, MMA Uncaged. You know, get their magazine. It's coming out very soon. You'll be able to see some articles from myself and some articles from DMI Images, Martin Ireland.
Lucky's Gym.
And Lucky's Gym, we would like to thank. You know, if you haven't been down there, get there. They've got, especially for the MMA guys, they have got great facilities for training. Martin, is there anything else you would like to say?
One more sponsor. Live Daily. Some people make a living, others make a life.
You know what? And I think that's a good way to end it. And if there's any questions you'd like to pose to us, or any questions you got for Damon Lake next week, and you'd like to email us, email myself or Martin. Myself's email address is dan@fury-mma.co.uk. And as Martin didn't know his last week, I'll do his one. It's martin@fury-mma.co.uk. Or feel free to go on our Facebook or our Twitter and pose your questions, and we'll try to get them out to him. As Mr. Doran would say it, be there.
I'll be
Octagon. Have a good night.